Lord, take me as I am. I'm incomplete. I'm broken. I'm willing. I desire more of you. And I like the last quote here. It says, this is a famous Catherine Coleman. She was a great Christian healer in the 60s, 70s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. And this was her famous quote. It says, not some of me and some of thee, O Lord, but all of thee and none of me. And that quote has been very special to my heart. I repeat it often because I don't want to run ahead of God. I just want to enter in, as this saying goes. It's about posturing myself to enter into God's grace. Psalm 42:9. In the psalm, it says, deep calleth unto deep. I just want you to pay attention to that quote because I think if there's a hidden meaning in that. It says, deep calleth unto deep, meaning you already have the depth in you. You already have gone there before. So that deep is calling to a deeper deep or a deeper walk with God. And that's me to enter into the mystery. Just as my lucid dream last night pushed me again, inviting me again to be a teacher. But I just say yes. And the Holy Spirit uses whatever I give the Holy Spirit. As an admission to being called to a deeper walk with God, I say yes. We know sometimes when we don't enter in, when we can't find the doorway for entering in, without God, and I believe there's confusion. Without God, there's anguish. Without God, we feel forsaken. Without God, we can be overwhelmed. Without God, we can feel exhausted. Without God, we can feel depressed. Without God, we can feel guilty of whatever we've done or said, or we've lost motivation, or we constantly cry, help me, Lord, or physical pain, or sadness. We're all affected by something, and especially with the world as it's turning, the pandemic, we can, quote, blame it on all these activities. But I believe we get so affected by chaos, talk, media, just bombarded with the negative. We have now inflation, the cost of living is going up, the gas prices are skyrocketed, the food is up, the prices, it can really take us in a fearful place. And I believe at least the United States, among others, world, we're being affected by this consciousness. If we do not fill ourselves up with God on a daily basis, if we don't enter in, all these symptoms can show up in our lives. In Hebrews 4:10, it talks about enter into God's rest. Now, it didn't say enter into your rest. It said enter into God's rest. Two different things. And to me, when I have my encounters with the Lord, when I have my prayer time, when I enter into that quietness, the silence, it really makes it matters. It prepares the way for that encounter to happen. When I worship God, when I just turn my gaze towards, especially during worship, I just get lost in that. And in that lostness, I found rest in God. Today, we're planting the seeds for your own healing, for your own resurrection, for your own freedom. I believe part of the characters of entering in, or let's say the setup that happens, is sometimes it's through trials. Sometimes it's through tribulation. Sometimes it's through suffering. Acts 4 says we must enter into the kingdom of heaven with many trials. And why would that seem like a setup for us? But it actually is an encounter, because once we are, quote, broken, and that could be losing a job. Maybe that was yesterday, losing a job because you didn't want to get the vaccination because you don't believe in that. Whatever the situation is, a loss is a loss. Maybe you lost a child. Maybe you a broken marriage. Whatever it might be, a broken relationship. Those trials and tribulations are there to position us to go deeper and enter into God. Because once we feel like, what's the use? That's part of surrender. And now we can go deeper and deeper. And once we realize that we aren't in control of our lives, we make choices, but it says man charts the course, which is choice, but God guides the footsteps. God provides provision. So he kind of positions us to hold us like a little child, and when it's having a temper tantrum, and says, no, just be still, be right here, be present, start breathing. And once we can settle down, then we can enter into this beautiful place called grace. You have made us for yourself, O Lord, and our hearts are restless until they rest in you. And isn't that a profound statement for how we're living our lives today? Is your heart resting in God? Or is it restless for what the world's telling us? There's chaotic out there. It's really about allowing grace to be fulfilled in our lives. It is about the peace that passes all understanding. It's God's delight to know, to serve, and to remember. And it's with the hope that everything works together for good for those that love God. So my prayer for you is to encounter that peace, that presence in all its glory. Amen.